What if I told you the dollar in your pocket isn't backed by anything real? No gold, no silver, nothing. Just trust. And that trust is fragile too. I mean, every America's money. And in 1971, President Richard Nixon cut the dollar off the gold standard completely. From that moment on, the US dollar became pure fiat. Welcome back to the Orange Peel podcast. I'm your host, Nikki, and today I'm breaking down how fiat money really works and why Bitcoin is our escape plan. Next episode, I'm bringing on Joe Bryan, the creator of What's the Problem. Joe has this gift for making really complex ideas sound simple and easy to understand. His video has been translated into more than 40 languages and seen by people worldwide, but that's not what got me about What's the Problem. What hit me most about this video is how clearly he shows us the root, how clearly he tells this story of two communities, and how since 1913, when the Fed was broken, and 1971, when the dollar was cut off gold, our money has been broken by design because it is fiat, because it isn't backed by anything. Joe is one of the voices that first made me question everything about how money works. I mean, he is the reason I know about the big red button. He's going to take this conversation way deeper than I can in a solo episode, so trust me, you're going to want to hear that. Fiat money is government-issued currency that isn't backed by anything scarce. Before 1971, the dollar was tied to gold through something known as the Bretton Woods system. Other governments could come into the US and exchange their dollars for gold in American vaults. But on August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon shut the gold window completely. This moment is often called the Nixon shock. Overnight, the dollar became pure fiat money. So what gives the dollar value today if it's not gold? Nothing. Since then, the dollar has lost about 87% of its purchasing power. This is why stories about our grandparents and even our parents having cheap tuition and housing and cost of living sound unreal and make us really angry, because they weren't living in a different world, on a different planet, or even a damn different country. They were living in our country, just a different form of money. People often say, why not just go back to gold? Gold worked for thousands of years. It's scarce, it's durable, and it's trusted worldwide. And while that is true, gold does have flaws. The supply isn't fixed. So when the price increases, mining does increase production as well. And the gold supply grows at about 1 to 1.5% a year. So that's an inflation rate of 1 to 1.5%. Bitcoin supply, in contrast, is hard capped at 21 million. The inflation rate just fell below 1% after the 2024 halving. Gold is also hard to verify because you need assays and trusted middlemen to, verify the gold itself. Bitcoin can be verified instantly by anyone in the world who's running a node. And anyone in the world can run a node. I can run a node sitting from my college dorm. Gold is heavy and it's hard to move across borders. Also, in 1933, the US government confiscated having private gold. Bitcoin is weightless. You can move thousands or millions with a phone or just by memorizing these 12 words. Also, unlike gold, Bitcoin supply is fully transparent, and that's amazing. Everyone in the world can see how many exist and how many are left to be mined by just going on the internet. It's awesome. So yes, gold was hard money for the physical world, but Bitcoin is hard money for today's world. It's hard money for the digital world. And if you want me to go deeper into that, just comment gold versus Bitcoin, and I can make a full episode diving into that comparison. But let's rewind back to 1913. When the Federal Reserve was created, it became America's central bank and the manager of the fiat system. The Fed doesn't dig up gold or mint coins backed by anything real. It creates money through policy. It sets interest rates. It buys government bonds. And when the Federal Reserve buys government bonds, new money enters the economy. In other words, this is inflation. The supply of dollars in the US is flexible. It expands whenever the Fed decides. And you know what? I know I have some Australian viewers. I know I have some people kind of around the world. This is not a US central thing. The supply of money increases, inflation hits everywhere, and any government can increase the supply of money. I mean, as a world, we're on the fiat system. So back to my point, we saw this power clearly during the COVID crash in 2020. The Fed unleashed the biggest wave of money creation in history. I mean, the US money supply jumped from about $15 trillion to $18 trillion in just months. By early 2022, more than $6 trillion new dollars had been created. Do the math, that's a 40% increase in just less than 2 years. This is why people laugh and make memes about our money printer. It is real. This is actually happening. And all of us are just oblivious. I mean, we might not even be oblivious, but we don't care. And I don't understand why we don't care. Anyway, once money became pure fiat in 1971, there were no hard limits left. Every crisis, whether it was a war, a recession, or even a pandemic like we saw with COVID, had the same damn solution: create more money. Every time the supply grows, the value of existing money falls. So you've got inflation, which is bad for consumers, and even so, it's bad for everyone except maybe like the few tight-knit elite in up government or whatever. This is bad. Make the math make sense. The math is not mathing. Make it make sense. I don't understand. The value of existing money falls. Gold at least slowed governments down, yes, but Bitcoin unlocks scarcity. It unlocks true economic scarcity. The supply is permanent. Fiat is unlimited. Bitcoin is fixed. Awesome. Bitcoin was designed as the escape plan from fiat. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. No politician, central banker, Federal Reserve, you name it, no CEO, no crisis button exists. Nothing can change that. There is no big red button. Every 4 years, the new supply gets cut in half in an event called the halving. In April 2024, the block reward dropped to about 3.125 Bitcoin. And the block reward is basically a payout that miners receive for adding a block of transactions into the blockchain. That cut Bitcoin's inflation rate to under 1%. Right now, the inflation rate of Bitcoin is under 1%, lower than gold's. And by the year 2140, all of the Bitcoin will have been mined. That means everything, all of the 21 million that is not lost or being held on to, whatever, will be out there, will be in circulation, basically. Inflation will be zero. That's incredible. And if you want me to make a full video breaking down how block rewards really work, comment block reward and I'll get to that. Bitcoin is also decentralized, though. There's no Federal Reserve meetings, there's no president who can shut a gold window and create a Nixon shock. The rules are locked in this code that is enforced by thousands of nodes worldwide. So while fiat is unlimited and based on trust in government, Bitcoin is capped. It's transparent and it's based on math. It's based on computers. That is the most objective that we can get. It is money with rules instead of money with rulers. Here's the big picture, though. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was created, and in 1971, Nixon cut the dollar off the gold standard. Since then, our money has been fiat. It's been unlimited, expandable, and backed by nothing but trust. Bitcoin is our alternative. Bitcoin is our escape plan. It's a fixed supply. There's transparent rules, no central authority. Understanding fiat is the first step to fixing the system. It shows you why Bitcoin matters. But we need to take action. We need to learn about Bitcoin. And this is my call to action section for all of the Gen Z watching this. And if you're not Gen Z, if you're older, get this to the Gen Z watching this. We have to do something. We have to learn about Bitcoin. We have to say it's not okay for the governments to keep getting away with what they're getting away with. I mean, I don't have words. I don't know what else to say. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And I did my full episode on why the heck Gen Z needs to care about Bitcoin, right? That's episode 2. I go into inflation, student debt, cost of living, rent, you name it. Bitcoin is our solution. We've only scratched the surface of fiat versus Bitcoin today. Next episode, I'm sitting down with Joe Bryan, who is the creator of What's the Problem, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and his work introduced thousands of people to just how broken our money really is. If this episode opened your eyes, I strongly urge you to watch What's the Problem, and I will add links to that in the description. I mean, I'm here for you guys to watch this, and when I come out with my episode on Friday, the interview with Joe Bryan himself, that conversation is going to blow your mind. It's going to be incredible, and I'm so excited. So until I see you, stay skeptical, stay curious, and stay orange-pilled. I'll see you Friday for a really, really special episode.